I'm in, bro.
That's how we're starting the podcast. Hello, welcome to the CAYACast. That's Jared, this is Lorcan, I'm Brad, and today we are joined by Mr. Will Linley himself. Please clap. In today's episode, we chatted all about the music industry in Cape Town. We chatted about Will's experience in LA. We talked about TikTok and music. We talked about mental health in music, the importance of community collaboration.
Talked about some stuff.
We talked about a lot of stuff. It's been a
Deep
jam-packed.
meaningful.
We talked about
Good
his
stuff.
shows that are
Good
coming
stuff.
soon
Good
that you should
shit.
check out. We talked about his EP that's coming soon, which you should also get excited for. Basically, it's a jam-packed episode, and there's a ton of really valuable
Might
and
even be
really
2
fun
parts.
stuff. It's really good. And yeah,
Get-
looking
hop
forward to
on
it.
This. You're already
welcome
watching, so
to the
continue doing
CAYACast.
that. Welcome to the CAYACast. That'll work.
You are a
You
nightmare.
fucked up my-
He
you
was
fucked
trying
up
to
my
chat and you
CAYACast.
just
It's fine.
spoke.
This is the 4th time recording an intro. He needed some guidance.
Fair game.
Just Jared
It's face, beautiful
right,
face.
and we
right
love
on the
that
camera.
kind of an angle.
Have you ever thought of modeling?
You could
Nah.
be.
Nah.
No, you could.
Wow, dude, why you gotta shoot it down so badly? Goodness
No,
gracious.
Way to back your boy.
no,
Lorcan.
no.
Only if Logan does it with me.
Let it get dream, bro.
I'll shoot you.
Can
I'll
you,
shoot your photos for you.
Can everyone hear me fine? Because I just can't monitor my
Yeah.
own levels, but I sound relatively similar. Eh?
My lighters
Sharp.
are falling out my pocket.
Cool. Dury, shout out. Thanks for the mic. Appreciate it. Cool. Let me get my phone notes out or whatever semblance of notes I've got. And then we'll do a proper intro. We were supposed to decide on what we were going to do with an intro.
We do the intro at the end, don't we?
That's irritating. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. We record the intro at the end because we want to just start wherever it starts happening
It's
nicely.
not a
That
it's
being said,
pretty standard procedure
I'm
for
going to
podcasts, if I'm
give
not
a
mistaken.
very brief introduction, or yeah, it's going to be very brief because I want to just talk through it. But yeah, today on the CAYACast, we've got Mr. Will Linley of KFM Top 40 fame and various other things.
Clout.
And yeah, it's an interesting group on purpose. It's like, I think we all love music, but very different types of music. And well, I've done this intentionally because I didn't want it to be just like a yes men podcast of people who all listen to the same kind of music, because I think that's important.
Mhm.
And the first thing I wanted to...
There also wasn't anyone else available.
Yeah.
Nah,
I
why
was
you
gonna
do me
do
like that? Okay, I need to put it with a gang.
No, but I had previously stated that I would like to be on this one.
If you laugh,
Aha.
do a little whoa, so that
Just
it's
legit
yeah.
head back.
Yeah, head,
Thigh
yeah. Even if
slapping.
it's not real, it looks better it looks better for the content. Well, dude, you've had a busy year or so. I've obviously been following on TikTok and Instagram and all the socials. For me, it's been really interesting. Obviously, I've been involved in the music industry, but in very different angles, and the Cape Town music industry is really close to my heart, and I love the people that are a part of it, and I love just the feeling associated with it. But you recently went overseas,
Mm.
and we're gonna definitely get a little bit more into that. Actually, yeah, like how I actually want to open it up way bigger than that. How legitimately, how are you? Like COVID, music, uni, like how are you doing, dude?
I'm good. Uni's not quite a thing anymore.
Are you
You're
done
not
now?
studying.
Gap year.
Okay.
Very much so.
Nice.
Gap year, according to my parents.
Or like a leave of
Just
absence.
keeping them happy
Yeah.
for now. Yeah. But I'm
Soul
doing
searching.
good. I'm trying to get to grips with everything and try and just get my footing. It's a bit of an interesting period in my life right now, and I'm kind of just like swinging for the fences and seeing what happens.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you've actually only released
2 songs.
2 songs.
Yeah.
2 songs. And then there's a third one coming out
Next Wednesday.
next Wednesday.
Hey.
I'm going to I want to see
shit.
out by Wednesday.
18th of May.
If it isn't yet, you need to go listen to Will's new song.
Yeah, it came out
if-
last week.
Yeah.
Or it's coming out today.
It's either coming out today
Oh.
or it came out last week, and you should go listen to it
You
regardless.
should go listen to the other 2 as well.
There'll definitely be a link. Go listen to the other 2 songs.
In anticipation.
I mean, you've also got a bit of an earworm with the song's just slipped my mind. Good. I forgot the song now.
Lovely.
don't take it
perfect
personally
timing.
because I'm
Fake
just
fan.
this bad with
No, man.
dude. The Hey Imagine song that I wrote a chorus on, I don't know some of the lyrics to, and it's
Lovely.
not. I love the song, but I'm just really bad with song names and song
You
lyrics.
just
And I'm like
deeper
in the
hole
music
now.
industry, but
Wow.
you can go back, bro. You can check that shit.
Well, do you forget your lyrics sometimes?
That's a good
I was
question.
actually singing at the Cheese and Wine Fest like last Saturday,
Oh, nice.
and I was singing one of my new ones, one of them that hasn't come out. So it was
Okay.
fine that I
Yeah.
completely botched the lyrics, but I just started
No one
like
else
writing
knows.
new lyrics.
No
whilst
one
I was saying.
like freestyling.
It was horrible, and some people like caught on, and they were
Yeah.
like, "You said that line twice. Like, what's going on?" I was like, it doesn't matter.
It's a loop. Don't worry about
So
it.
that's quite an intimate environment to forget your lyrics in, because like if you're playing at like a party or like a gig where like people are drinking, they're dancing, that no one's like paying all their attention to the lyrics, it's easier to like slip up and do a bit of like freestyling or improv. But then if it's like the Cheese and Wine Festival where like people are like sauntering, unless it was a different
That's
environment
the
to what
thing.
I'm.
Saturday, so I played Saturday and Sunday. Saturday was the student day.
Uh,
I have never seen debauchery on that level in my entire
At the
life.
Cheese and Wine
Cheese and
Fest.
Wine
Bro,
Festival,
it was
bro.
insane. You go and you pay like $290 for a ticket, right? So like for a student, it's hefty. But you go in there and they're like 80 wine farms, if not more. They all offer at least one free sample. So people just go around to 80 wine farms, get a free tasting of like one wine,
80 shots
You
of
are-
wine.
out of your mind
Yeah, and
by the
wine
end
drunk.
of that. So by that time, I was on at like 3 p.m. So by that time, I just had people going, whoa, play Miss Me When You're Gone. I was like, there are other songs, bro. They're coming. But it was quite nice. It was a great festival because everyone was really drunk. So it was okay.
At a gig, do you do the three songs now that you have and then covers, or what's your approach with gigs?
Set list, yeah.
I've got like almost 20 something unreleased songs
Nice.
in the
Nice.
pipeline,
Nice.
just ready. So I perform a whole bunch of those.
Okay.
But I do chuck in one or two covers because otherwise people just literally
You
stare at
gotta
me
do,
blankly
yeah.
for 45
Yeah.
minutes.
Never heard this.
Yeah.
You got to throw them to like Wonderwall and fucking just something that you know all
Yeah,
the
sing along.
Anyway,
Honestly.
What are your
Here's
cover
Wonderwall.
choices? What are the go-tos?
I do Steal My Girl by One Direction, which honestly hits every time. It's so much fun. It's awesome. And then I started doing Castle on the Hill by Ed Sheeran, which is just
what
a
song.
basic, easy, honestly,
But
anyone can sing that one.
Incredible song. So I mean, on Miss Me When You're Gone, which is obviously has flown incredibly, and
So
is
that's the
such-
song that
is-
you forgot.
Yeah, that's the one. I forgot the name.
Okay. Cool.
Thanks.
Just checking.
Just in case anyone didn't know, if I was in, I always find it interesting when someone releases. I mean, obviously you were promoting it kind of before the release, but it got a really big release. It got really good, or really for a first song from a Cape Town artist. It got incredible reception, right out the gate. What's it been like? Has there been pressure? Like, and I'm going to get into the mental health of all this shit because I think it's really important as musicians to be talking about that. But like following your 100% a hit right out the gate. What's that been like musically? Have you felt that there's been pressure? Have you been able to kind of ignore it? What's that been like for you?
It's been interesting. I think I was feeling pressure to kind of follow it up.
Yeah.
Because you hear people throw around like one hit wonder or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I had songs ready.
Yeah.
And we knew what the second song was going to be after
Yeah.
Miss Me When You're Gone. We knew it was going to be Wrong Time.
Yeah.
So in my head, it wasn't like Miss Me was released.
Yeah.
And then I was sitting there going, oh my gosh,
shit,
I've got to write another Miss Me When You're Gone. I have to write another one. Otherwise nobody's going to listen to my music. And because we knew the steps that we were going to take, it kind of made that second release a lot easier. And Wrong Time is not done as well as Miss Me. And that's okay. Like it totally is fine. But you do get into your head and you're like, well, a month in Miss Me When You're Gone had 1 million streams.
Yeah.
And a month in on Wrong Time and we haven't broken 200,000,
Yeah.
But the numbers are still really good.
Dude, exactly. And you get into your head and you don't actually go, well, Will, you're an up and coming artist.
Yeah.
Who is lucky enough to say, for my first song, I did this and I got this amount of streams. And I think I constantly have to catch myself because the first song did so well,
Yeah.
And now I think I'm in a much better headspace of going like, I love the music that I'm making. I know what the next 3 songs are that are coming out.
Yeah.
We've done a music video for the one. We did a visualizer for the one that's coming on Wednesday.
Cool.
We know the songs that are coming out. I can't change that anymore.
Yeah.
So I might as well just accept it and love the songs that I'm putting out and go, you know what? If people don't love these, it's okay.
Yeah.
But it is a part of...
Someone's going to love them.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the thing is, the songs that are coming are so different to Miss Me When You're Gone. And I think I've actually done that deliberately.
Yeah.
Because if you go and write 5 other Miss Me When You're Gone, people go, well, this brother has one type of song that he does.
The baby vibes. Okay, great. You can do that, but can you do anything else? And I think that's such a great mindset going in, especially for someone who's sort of hit the ground running and they've had a really successful start. It's easy for someone to be like, oh, so that's the formula for success. I'm going to fall back on that. But I think it takes someone who really loves their craft and is really strong-minded to go out, have a successful first song and be like, okay, cool. So I know that works. I'm going to put that aside and continue to feel out the industry and to feel out what kind of music and content I want to be putting out. And then once I've sort of laid it all out on the table, I can see like, okay, so Miss Me When You're Gone is still the most successful song. So, okay, we know that that's a target market. Let's see how we can adapt that and adjust it and sort of continue on that trajectory, because we've seen this stuff didn't work so much, but that doesn't mean that I can't do it. I can still do that because I enjoy doing it. But I know that if I need a hit or if I need something that's gonna cover the bills, the electricity and rent don't pay themselves, I can make another Miss Me When You're Gone.
Exactly. I think, and I mean, like, it's something I wanted to bring up because obviously, like, people in our social groups like know of you. You know, you've become, you know, and it's probably weird as shit for you. But weird. Like, there's definitely like there's an element of like celebrity or micro celebrity or however you want to phrase it, of like, you know, people know who you are, they know what you do. You've got really adoring fans, which, like, in and of itself, I'm interested to understand how that feels, you know, for you. What's that been like over the year in terms of how people interact with you? How's that changed? How do you feel about how people are interacting with you? It's been weird because it really has only been 5 months. It's been 5 months since I released Miss Me, and
feels like it's been longer. Bro.
Honestly, that song, I'm like, it comes on, I'm like, shush, get it off, stop.
Once you worked on a song that much, you're like, I never want to hear this ever again.
No, I love it, man. But I think it's really been such a contrast to looking back at where I was last year at this point in time. I was like studying a degree that I hated, and it was at university at Stellies, and I loved it. I was starting to make like really cool friends. None of my high school friends went over to Stellies, so I was really just like thrown in there in the deep end, not knowing anyone. And it's been a big change from November of last year to now. And I think there's been a lot of learning, a lot of growing, a lot of realizing that like I make mistakes and I don't know what I'm doing. And when people throw around the word like micro celebrity, or whatever, I'm like, Bruce, shut up. Like, that's like, no.
100% doing it for exactly that purpose.
Exactly. It feels weird, but at the same time, I can't deny anything. I've just got to go, you know what? I'm in this position. How awesome is this? 12-year-old Will is freaking out right now, man. And so I can't let 20-year-old Will like stop these dreams from coming true and just going, you know what? Screw it. Let's go for it. Let's run. Let's have fun with it. But it has been a really, really interesting ride over the last 5 months. And my friends have been so supportive. They've caught me when I'm like getting too big for my boots. They're the ones who bring me down straight away. And I think that I'm super grateful for them, super grateful for family. I think if it wasn't for my family, it would be a totally different situation. They've just been constant rocks that I can lean on, because it's been lonely sometimes, you know, and there are times when it's difficult and you feeling the pressure of having to put out another song, and it's been really interesting, but I'm so grateful to be here, and it's awesome just to be putting like one foot in front of the other and taking it day by day and seeing where it goes.
I mean, like, I'm talking about all this. I want to talk about the shit that I legit want answers to. Doing the TikToks, because your TikTok is like incredible. Like, and I think it's something that we don't talk about enough as a K-Town music industry. The marketing is is so much of the game. The being a good songwriter, being a good musician, all of that gets your foot in the door. That's just what lets you try get into the music industry, in my mind. Beyond that, it does not matter.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's oversimplifying things a little bit. Don't crucify me. But broadly speaking, you know, that's just what lets you play the game. And the marketing's super, super important. And why so many local artists really struggle to get off the ground, I feel, is because people are just like, oh no, I'm just going to make really good music, and, you know, the right people
The rest will do itself.
which I think is just impractical. And
Well,
just
nowadays it's impractical.
yeah.
Sorry. Totally cut you
yeah,
off.
no, go for it. And please counter me. That's the whole point. But, you know, and I think for me, that's been the part that you've nailed so well. Like, people really, I feel, get a really good understanding of who you are from your social media, and TikTok's a big part, but Instagram as well. But I think what you've done really well, from my, you know, limited knowledge of you, is that it's really, in the large, really genuine. But bro, how are you so enthusiastic in all those TikToks all the time? I'm just not that positive ever, clearly. But like, hectic.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna expose myself here. Every time I saw like your TikToks pop up on my page, like I'll just be watching and I'll just catch myself smiling, and I'm like, hey, I don't fucking mean to smile, dude. What's going on?
Are you not going, oh, screw this, dude?
Happy motherfucker.
Well, what I'm trying to get at, it's what you're doing worked, and it is working. So,
If you can get this guy to smile, then you're doing something.
Come on.
But yeah, I mean, it's obviously been a huge part of your career, and it's certainly, especially in South Africa, not a conventional way of going about it. How do you think that's impacted the way you look at social and at branding, and, you know, at being real on social media versus putting across what, you know, works? You know, what's that been like? Because I think it's a unique experience, but I think it's something more people need to try.
Yeah, I did not want to do TikTok at the beginning. I think so. Okay, I'll tell a bit of the story. Just in
give
terms
us
of,
as much as you want.
you can tell me to shut up and move on
I'm
whenever.
not going to.
But about, I mean, I started writing songs at 16,
Yeah.
and the first song was obviously a love song, because you can't
That's
write a
how
song
you
that's not
start
about
writing
love.
songs.
You know? Honestly, I don't think I knew what love was, but hey, let's go for it.
Let's write
And
about it.
bro, honestly, it sucked. It was a horrible song, but the fact is that I wrote something, you know, and started getting involved in like GarageBand and Logic, and just diving into that world of what does it mean to produce out a song, you know? And when it came to going off to uni, I left all my music stuff behind. I'd released some stuff on SoundCloud, but nothing really stuck. And I went off to uni and left all my music stuff behind and said, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. It's okay. And then lockdown hit. And those first 30 days of lockdown, where it was that hectic, can't leave your house, you're staying indoors. I wrote a song a day, and put out one of those songs at the end of
Rotate the stand a bit. You need the leg, you need the tripod leg under where this weight is. Nah, it's not going to happen. Just don't let it. Yeah, that's what you want, kind of. I meant the other leg,
I
but it's
remember
okay.
you taught me, Bradley. I remember these things.
There we go.
Taught him well. Look at that.
Rotate it the other way so that Will can continue.
Like physics or something.
Jared.
There we go. No, there we go. We got it.
You got it?
Sorry, Will. Please
all the
continue.
podcasting, man. Put out one of those songs on SoundCloud, and it did fine. I mean, it got like 15,000 listens. No, that's awesome. No ways.
That's good, bro. What you mean?
And
Average.
and I got put in touch with this guy called David Belshaw, through a friend of a friend, and he was studying finance at UCT, but was also producing songs. And I remember he said to his mate, he was like, "Yeah, sure, feel free to give my number to Will. Like, he can ask me any questions." It took me about 2 weeks to muster up the courage to message this dude. Finally I'd met someone in the industry, and I was not going to mess this opportunity up, you know? Because also I just never knew anyone in the industry, never. And finally I felt like I found someone. I was like, I'm going to take this, you know? Messaged him and just was like, "Hey dude, do you mind if I send you like 1 or 2 demos? Please, I hope it's not too much." He was so kind. He was like, "Oh bro, of course, send them through." And he was very kind. The songs I sent him sucked, but he listened, and he'd say, "I think this chorus needs work." I go, okay, what can I do, David? And it was like, maybe change this note, maybe do this. I was like, okay. So I'd go back, write a new chorus, send it back to him, and you go, okay, I think it still needs a bit of work, but maybe try. And I was like, okay, David. And then I'd go back to my room and write a new chorus. And so it just started this process of constantly analyzing my music and rewriting things and reworking instruments and redoing verses. And it just started the actual process and the craft of songwriting. And one day David invited me into the studio, and it was the first time that I went into the studio. It was in Woodstock, and my mum wasn't shouting at me to come and have dinner while I was recording vocals, or the lawnmower wasn't going off in the background. And we recorded a demo, and I was ready to put it out. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, can I put this on? This is incredible. It's the best song that's ever been written. Paul McCartney, eat your heart out, bro. And David was like, whoa, relax, dude, chill. And he ultimately just started inviting me every Friday. I'd go into the studio with him, and we'd write music and just have fun. And finally, I felt like I'd met someone who cared about music just as much as me. And that was huge, because it was this motivating factor of someone pushing me to be better at writing. And I think that ultimately, like, I sucked, but I was pushing him in the sense of just coming in every Friday and doing sessions. David was having to come up with a guitar riff.
Showing the hunger.
Exactly. And we just started writing a bunch. And he introduced me to his producing partner, a guy called Bubele Boy, who is a wizard, incredible. Bubs is just unbelievable at just coming up with cool ideas. And David is just this genius at distilling these ideas. And that together they just work so well. And Bubs was off in New York at the time. And we started working on a new song, and we sent it off to David and Bubele's managers. And they kind of sent back going, this is quite cool. Keep writing, boys. Don't stop. And then David and I went for coffee one day, and we had a couple demos under my belt, and he said, Brew, I know you don't want to, but you have to get onto TikTok. I said, we argued about this, and
Jono?
Jono,
Yeah.
are you listening?
Get onto TikTok. And I remember we had this big debate, big conversation. And David just said, listen, Brew, there are one too many artists getting their break off TikTok for you not to try. He said, commit to a month. If after a month, nothing happens, we can stop and you can go back to the drawing board and we can try figure this out again. But commit to me that you'll do at least a month.
Yeah.
I said, okay, fine, go do a month. It started on Instagram. I first had to make my account public. That was a big thing. I didn't like that. I was like, no, I was such a private person.
Yeah. Anyone can see my stuff? No, thank you.
Exactly. I was like, please no, this is the worst thing in the world. I had like 1,000 followers then and made it public and started putting up some demos on Instagram. And I'd post these little videos of me singing the verse and chorus of a song. And they started doing some really nice numbers and pulling in some traction. And one or two of the videos got like 6,000 views and 7,000. Then it grew to like 15,000. And I was like, oh, something's happening. And then in December of 2020, I put my first TikTok up, which was, I basically just put one of my videos that I put on Instagram, just put on TikTok. And then I started the whole journey of TikTok. And I had my month and I did 2 videos a day. That was my commitment.
Jesus.
2 videos a day.
That's volume.
Influencer vibes.
And it was also December holiday. I had time on my hands and I just committed that. I said to myself, you know what? Let's rather commit to doing music stuff than seeing friends every single day. I can see friends 3 times a week and do music 4 or 5 times a week, you know, just in between. And I'd write a song every day and just try and work the craft of writing a song. And about 2.5 weeks in, a video of Miss Me went semi-viral, whatever you want to call it.
By semi-viral, what's the numbers on right now?
That very first video, I think, is sitting on like 400,000, 500,000.
Semi?
I think.
I think that counts.
Semi?
Dude.
I could very, I really, I can't, I really don't know.
Humble.
But I remember sitting with my mates. I went to a birthday thing at Kirstenbosch, you know, like picnic.
Goodness gracious, this is a classic. COVID birthdays.
Honestly. And I remember suddenly my phone started blowing up and Miss Me, the verse, started moving. And I remember just looking at my mate and it was crap. the song's not done. We haven't got a verse. I mean, we haven't got a chorus. We haven't got a second verse. We haven't got a song. All it was I'd written a verse to a splice loop that I chopped up and like created a progression that I liked. I sent 3 versions of a verse to David and said, which one do you like? Version 3 I like. I recorded a pre, put a TikTok up, and that was it.
Hectic.
And that was a verse in the pre that is now in the song, but we didn't have a chorus. We had nothing. And so when that first video took off was when I realized, you know what, there's power in this app.
Yeah.
And it's giving people like me in Cape Town, South Africa, the chance to be seen and heard by people in Europe and America and the big dogs, in a sense. You know, I think a lot of the time people feel like, I need to be in America if I want to make this music thing work. I need to be in Europe if I want to make this thing work. But actually, it is possible to do it here. And with an app like TikTok, it perfectly levels the playing field and allows your stuff to be heard and seen by people abroad. And that's where it flipped. And I went, okay, I am committed to this app and I will now use it for marketing. And that's where we are now.
Yeah, there's 2 things that I've taken from that are sort of interesting and stuff that's come up for me before that. Well, it's perfect timing to have you here, that I wanted to ask someone who's kind of made those steps and sort of is actually in the motion of like making it big, for lack of a better term. But like, I've lived in Cape Town since 2004, and up until like 2017, 2018, the stigma was that like, if you're South African, if you're from Cape Town, if you're from Joburg, if you're from wherever, that like you could get big here, but the likelihood of it progressing beyond that is rare, slim to none. And then things like Instagram, TikTok start playing a much more prevalent role, and they start offering a platform for anyone to find success. And I think that is, it's great because it means that local talent can really shine on an international stage. But there's another thing that you were talking about, which applies to the creative industry as a whole and not just one specific section of it, but it's the value of connections. And what's interesting for me is that I feel like people on the outside who aren't necessarily in the creative industry see the creative industry as like, it's who you know, and like, if you have the right connections, you're going to make it, which
it definitely helps.
It's not far from the truth, but I think you're a very good example of the truth of it, which is like, yes, connections are important, and yes, connections are what's going to help put you on, because you can have all the talent in the world and it can just sit lying dormant for your whole life. But it's about utilizing those connections effectively and actually putting in the work to make those connections work for you. Because like, as a photographer, I've been working now for 7 years. I mean, I've like when I was 15, 16, I was just shooting house parties and stuff. Nothing,
right?
Like, it wasn't a job, but like, I've been working for quite some time. And when I reached the age of like 18, 19, 20, that's when I would start to like meet connections. And like, I remember there was one, I think it was even this year, it was the end of last year or this year, where I met someone from America, and I was like, oh my God, like, this is a big conversation. Like, they're throwing names around, but I'm like sitting there like,
I remember that.
And then like in my mind, I was like, okay, great, I've made it. Like okay,
Sorted.
cool.
Career.
Like, it's like, we did it, boys, we did it. And it didn't materialize into anything. And I think that was a very valuable lesson, that like, oh shit, like, just because someone's worked on a big movie or they've met this person or friends with this person, it doesn't mean that they're going to now solve your career.
Yeah.
It's about really putting in the work and showing them why they should believe or invest in you.
I think something that you've said there, which stuck with me, was like building hopes. And I think that, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't. Like,
none of us do. Just get over.
I'm talking about doing TikToks like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I really don't know what I'm doing, and I just have fun on the app.
Yeah.
Life's too short for me to really be serious about music and TikTok and what are the algorithms doing. I'm gonna go do whatever I love and just have fun with it. But I think what you said there is about managing your expectations. And I think that the creative industry is so big on that you really can't get ahead of yourself because it is only, you can only actually get excited about something when it actually materializes.
Yeah.
And in the creative industry, things lie in the pipeline for 8 months, 12 months, a year, and 2 years.
And then sometimes it comes out the next day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The song that I'm releasing on next week, Wednesday, I Don't Want to Be Yours, was the first song I ever wrote with David. That's 2 years ago. And so
2 years in the making.
That's a long time.
you get excited about a song, then you show it to someone, they go, oh, this is cool. I know so-and-so, they could do that. Blah, blah, blah. Then you go, oh, they know so-and-so, they could do whatever. Okay.
Wow.
And then it never gets to so-and-so and they never do whatever.
Yeah.
And ultimately it's a song that David and I just did and Bubele put production on it and David and I wrote it together in the studio. And I think that's been the hardest part. I think you spoke about it earlier on just what are the difficulties. It's learning how to manage expectation and realizing that it's okay if things don't happen now.
Because they can still happen 2 years down the line.
Be patient.
Yeah, I think, I mean, what
good.
I took from, I'm sorry that you spat some bars there, dude. There's some reels being made out of that. I'm telling you for free. But,
Yes.
you know, like, there were a couple of things you touched on that were interesting. I think the first one was just a like note from my side in terms of like, you know, you mentioned the one hit wonder gets banded around as soon as you have a song that does well, everyone's like, ooh. And I think it's important for people to understand that, yes, that was the first song you released, but like, even like, I didn't know this shit, and it's so interesting to like the fact that you were writing a song a day for, you know, extended periods of time, that your TikTok only, you know, worked, but when you were putting out 2 videos a day, like, that is graft, and a lot of it won't have, like, so much of that won't pay off directly. Do you know what I mean? Like, so many of those songs are never going to come out. So many of those TikToks, like, well, are there, but they're not doing much.
But they're valuable lessons.
But like the shit you learn and the consistency you learn, and I'm sure that being able to put stuff out and then just deal with it not working at the time, like, that's what people need to understand, you know, in the creative industry, is that, from the outside, it might look like, you know, you posted a couple of TikToks and a SoundCloud thing and went viral. And it's like, there's always so much more to it than that. And, you know, the Cape Town creative industry is hard. It's small. There's not a ton of money in it at the moment. It will. We're going to take this shit to the moon.
Hopefully.
But, you know, you've got to put in the work every day to get better and better at your craft and at the business of what you do as well. I think is like as much a part of the marketing's as important.
Not every TikTok's going to be viral. Not every song's going to be a hit. Not every interview is going to go well. There's going to be bad projects, and I think this also goes with what you're saying about managing your expectations. I think it's very important to be open to being wrong and failing and fucking up, because if you're open to that, like, obviously you've got to make sure that you're not fucking up on every project, or you're not like making too many mistakes. But if you're able to look at your mistakes honestly and openly and sort of like take from them, as opposed to like almost like denying that you ever make mistakes, like people like, no, like every song's going to be a hit, or I'm going to go viral with every TikTok. It's like, well, you're in for a harsh reality.
Take a humble pill.
And I'm like, oh, Jesus. And like with the song Every Day, and how like a lot of those songs won't actually ever see the light of day. I think that's also a very valuable point, is like, when you're making content or when you're like producing something creative, like, not everything is going to see the light of day. You could be working on something that you think is like the best project you've ever done, the best shoot you've done, the best song you've written, and it doesn't go anywhere. Like a good example is like on my computer at home, my main kind of like editing computer, in my Lightroom, there's 23,000 edited photos, and I've had the computer for like a year and a half, 2 years, but I haven't posted like, I probably haven't even posted 1% of those. But they're all there, and I've edited all of them, and that means that I have 22,000 photos experience, But
But nobody's going to see the journey of that.
no one's going to see the journey. And also like they're not going anywhere. I've edited them and they are on my computer, which means I can post them at any time. Just because I don't post them as soon as they're edited, that doesn't mean that the shoot was a failure or that I didn't enjoy the shoot. It just means that I'm terrible at managing my social media, but we'll get there eventually.
Do you know what I find so funny and also, well, actually it's not funny. I don't know why I said that. I was like, wait, what's the word? Don't know.
Not funny.
But yeah, not funny. But when I first started doing stuff, I was recording all my own music in my bedroom.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first started putting stuff on SoundCloud, it was when I was 16, 17. And a lot of people were like, why don't you just put this on Spotify or iTunes? And for me, it was a quality thing.
You have to be ready.
Exactly. I knew I was going to get better. In my head, I was like, I will get better.
Yeah, we'll get
Even
there.
if I'm 30 years old. And that's when I put my song up on Spotify. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think in your head, you've got to be committed to realizing that with creativity and with the creative process, you grow and you get better, you know? And you don't write your first song and write Ocean Eyes unless you're Phineas and Billie Eilish. You know, I think that was like their third, fourth song that they wrote, and that's just
that's just unfair. And
yeah, but also that's a good point. Is like looking at that, and I think that this is quite a damaging like mindset that some people like find themselves in. And I'm not saying that this is the mindset that you're in, but a lot of people like look at that, for instance, and be like, oh, I can never do that, so I'm not going to even bother trying. If that's like people see that as the standard that you have to reach, they're like,
success,
third song they've written and it's a worldwide hit. Well, I can never do that, so I'm not even going to bother trying. It's like, well, like pump the brakes. They've been like working at this for years upon years, and so they've been through that, writing a song every day and failing and like projects not amounting to anything and the disappointment that comes with it. And I think that those negative feelings are so important because you wouldn't want to experience that again. You wouldn't want to experience that disappointment or that feeling of failure or that feeling of like, this hasn't gone how I wanted. So you work to avoid it. So that's why they're so important and valuable. These like fuck ups almost. It's like, okay, I know that feeling. I didn't enjoy feeling that feeling. So I'm going to do things differently to ensure that I don't feel that feeling again.
Exactly. And I think that feeling of not wanting to mess up in front of people, especially in the creative world, is so real. I think I was actually chatting to my mum a bit. My mum's basically like my life coach. That woman is
Shout
a
out
saint.
mums.
Shout out moms.
I love her. She's incredible. But we've kind of shot the breeze a lot.
Yeah.
Because I think in my family, I'm the first to kind of go into the creative world or the like super creative world. You know, there's marketing and that brings a lot of creativity into it. But I'm the first
it's a
to
more
kind of
commercialized industry.
Yeah. I actually trained with I think it's your brother.
Joe.
No.
Max.
Where? At
PFA?
PFA, yeah.
Bro, do you do jiu-jitsu?
I used to. I stopped by last year.
Dude, I love he loves it. He tells you, he's like, well, you should come do it. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm fine.
I'm good.
It's just like wrestling your brothers, bro. I'm like, no, it's not.
No,
It's
fun.
far
It's
from
fun.
that, bro.
It's so fun.
Well, I mean, it would be, but professionally. And they've got like a year head start on you.
No, honestly. But I think that fear of failure publicly freaks me out and scares me. I think this is the first time where I've been in the public eye like this.
Yeah.
And the chance of failure in my head has never been bigger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, if I don't become the next whatever, I'm a failure.
Yeah.
And then you catch yourself and you go, well, why do you actually think that?
You're already a success.
Why? But the thing is, it's all relative.
Yeah.
And you keep chasing.
Yeah, you have to. You
keep chasing.
The thing is,
And
you have to find that line between like pushing yourself to always like improve and to be better and to do better on the next project, but also then like keeping yourself in check and being like, oh shit, like I am actually doing crazy shit. And it's not just I'm failing every time, because it's like the further you tip the scale one way, the further it's going to have to go the other way. So you have to like, if you level it out and you settle with mediocrity, you're never going to feel major disappointment or like sadness or angst, but you're never going to reach the heights of this. But if you go here, the scale's got to go here on the other side.
It's a difficult game to play. And I think that I've now accepted that success for me is being able to do music as a career, and I can keep my lights on, put food in my belly, and keep going. You know, I think it's very easy to be in that mindset and say that to yourself, but then when you're actually in
Practicing
the world of it, then you suddenly are, oh no, I'm a failure. And you're like, wait, what did it mean to be successful? You know? But I think it's funny because we joked about it earlier when I said, now Wrong Time's only done like 300,000 streams or whatever. And you're like, well, that's actually flipping insane. And then I sit here and go, actually, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, stop being hard on yourself.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And I think that Miss Me was a song that did well on TikTok.
Yeah.
It got incredible pre-saves.
Yeah.
We haven't seen numbers like that since.
Yeah.
And I think for Wrong Time, what was so funny is we'd be having meetings with my team and they go, well, we've only got this many pre-saves on Wrong Time. I'm like, well, guys, it's because it's not doing well on TikTok.
We've got how many?
It's okay. It doesn't matter. And the song that I'm releasing on Wednesday hasn't had the
I'm so
same
excited
pull.
for that song.
I'm very
The
excited.
like rock bits, like the guitar and the drums.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Oh, that snippet you released, I was like, okay, cool. Shit's
Well, I
getting
don't know if
going.
it's the one that you're talking about. Are you talking about at a bar, met this girl through a friend of a friend? That one.
Might be.
The last call. This one's that I Don't Want to Be Yours.
Okay, well, I'm excited for that one.
We'll see. We'll see.
Out of context, your description of the song is so funny. It's just like if you take it out of context, like I really like the guitars and the drums.
Yeah, but
I like
the song I was talking about, and now he knows what I mean. So
I like the music part of the music.
Yeah, the music part
I
of
like
the
the music part of the both songs.
But like with I Don't Want to Be Yours, it's not doing well on TikTok. It is what it is. I'm busy coming up with the dumbest trend ever and just being an idiot and just having fun, but realizing that not every song needs to have how many pre-saves and get on how many playlists. It's totally okay. And I think I learned that because Wrong Time didn't have all of that.
Yeah.
So you got that like both sides of the sword kind of like experience right in, which is valuable.
Wrong Time had almost like, I don't know, an eighth of the amount of pre-saves that Miss Me had, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that going from a song that did so well to a song that, relatively speaking, didn't do as well has helped me now just realize it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm focusing on longevity.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build a career.
Yeah.
I'm not chasing virality.
Yeah.
And the minute that you chase virality, then all is lost in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, if you are constantly chasing that viral moment, you ultimately are just going to keep falling short and you're not going to be writing music for yourself and enjoying the process of actually writing a song.
Yeah.
How awesome is it? It's fun. You know?
Dude, I'm so glad you're talking about it like this because like it is just the thing that trips so many people up. And it is, you know, and it seems that you found somewhat of a balance between, you know, there's some people who are just like, oh, I'm just going to write songs that I like and, you know, I'm going to focus on just my art and, you know, me, and it's all about me as the tortured artist and, you know.
Which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, but it's not going to make you a career. Or it's hard to make that direction to turn into a career. And then on the other side is like what I feel like a lot of people do in Cape Town, because it's the way to get to a career as fast as possible, like where it's paying your bills, is the like, cool, I'm going to make a song that's going to appeal to the most people, like academically, which is you go, you know, down the bubblegum pop route. And, you know, there's algorithms for, you know, writing some of these songs. And then just going, okay, cool, every song I've just got to write the trendiest kind of song and appeal to the most people and get it to go viral because it's got a catchy hook and like a pop line. And then, as you said, I think that kills it. And it's so transparent when that's what someone's doing. It's like you see, like you can hear when a song is.
Few people come to mind.
It's quite interesting. I was obviously I've just been away for the last 2 months, kind of writing and just building out the catalog. And I'd go into a session with somebody and we'd be singing and coming up with a concept and a chorus. And oftentimes you start with the chorus and then a sentence will come out of the person's mouth that I'm writing with. And they're like, what will translate well on TikTok? I'm like, whoa, relax. Let's just have fun. Let's write a song. Not that you sit there and you say, I'm not going to write a song that can appeal to people. You know, we wrote a song like 2 months ago called Gracie that is about it's basically me asking the questions of who am I going to end up with one day. It's a very like cringy but fun.
But who's Gracie though?
Question exactly. We don't know. We
But do you know?
I wish I knew. Man. Goodness gracious, bro. But then when I'm performing the song at a point in the concert, I'll be performing the song, and then you pick someone in the audience. What's your name? They'll say their name, and then you put their name in the song, and everyone loves that. It's a fun thing that I love to do, to interact with my audience. And so every now and then you do think of, okay, how can I?
But that's also
paint this in a world that actually is fun for me to interact with my fans, because that's important.
Yeah,
is building a connection with the people that are actually helping you live out your dream, and I've got to be as supportive of them as they are of me. You know, and give them music that they love as much as I love, you know, and it's important to work that dynamic.
What two-part question, what do you want people to take away from your music or from being at a show? I think live shows are like the golden whatever. So what do you want someone to feel at a live show? And what do you think they feel like? What's your instinct as to how people react?
The live shows have been an interesting journey, man. I think a lot of people, a lot of artists, majority of artists, their journey starts with playing live shows. And then you get into the recording process, and then you suddenly start releasing the music that you've been playing.
Yeah.
I've gone the opposite way around. I released songs, and then I started playing my songs for the very first time in front of people.
Yeah. And
that process has been a journey. I think what's also hard is that I'm doing this all alone in South Africa. I rock up to a gig with my guitar, my rig, and my laptop, and it's just me. And I sit in a green room for 3 hours by myself.
Well, dude, you need a roadie. I've got a decade of experience.
Dude.
Come on. We're going to seriously chat about it because anyways, we'll get into that.
But I think that, so that's been difficult in trying to tackle these live shows by myself, but also do it in a way that's fun, unique, interesting, and plays to me. What is my brand? That's been the biggest freaking headache of a question. Well, what's your brand? I don't know,
dude. I don't know. Me?
I'm just like, I smile. Is that fine?
You know, does that count?
Honestly, but I think with my live shows, the ultimate feeling and emotion that we do try to get across, and we've built out a whole live show, done backing tracks and everything. It's just that, like, it's okay to feel how you feel. It's okay to be proud with your feelings. A lot of my songs are like happy, sad songs. They're upbeat instrumentals with very sad lyrics.
I love those
and I think that for me, I'm someone who wears my heart on my sleeve. I feel feelings. I know it sounds so weird, but
I get you.
I very much feel my feelings. And I think that is something that I want to try to get across to my audience, that it's okay to do that. And also just to have a fun connection with my fans, to look at somebody in the eye and sing them a song, and to hug the people that are helping me make my dream come true. And that for me is the most beautiful gift that I have right now.
Is there a part two, or can I make a comment?
No, he's answered both parts. It was
very good answer. But it also it brought up something for me that I think is very important. And it's not like I don't want this to come across that it's like an essential, like this is what you've got to do if you're entering the creative industry, or like you have to do this to make it. But I think the value of kind of cutting your teeth on your own when entering an industry is valuable beyond description if you're able to see it through. Because but I think that if you're entering an industry and you're starting to go, like for instance, go to gigs, and you're the only member of your team where you're in the green room for 3 hours and you're doing all the audio setup, you're the one who's doing everything. It makes you good at doing everything, and it also really humbles you because like you see the value of what other people can offer you. And like as I said, I've been working for 7 years now. I'm 21 with roughly 7 years industry experience under my belt, but like for 6 of those years I was just kind of out on my own, like rocking up to a party with like my backpack of gear, and then just doing it, going home, editing the photos or the video, and then sending it through. And that kind of like made joining a team so much more valuable, because I was like, oh my God, like I don't have to do all of these things anymore. I can focus on what I'm best at. And then there are people around me who love doing the same thing as me, and they're good at the things that I'm not good at. So it just makes it much better. But that time before where you're on your own, you're getting kicked while you're down, you're getting walked over, you're getting manipulated, disrespected. It sucks. It sucks ass, but you learn so much more, because I feel like also if you're part of a team, you don't get treated as an individual. Like when we do a gig as a team, it's Kaya. It's not like Lorcan, Brad, Jared, Durant, Mila, Gina. We're a team. We're seen as one, and we get treated with the respect of a team. But if it were just me, it's just me. It's not like the whole Kaya team. And so people's perception of you changes. But if you enter with a team, you don't like experience the negative side, and it can come as a surprise when you do a gig on your own.
Yeah.
Like if you've been part of a team for a few years, you go out on your own and you go to a gig and you're like, whoa, like what's this? I've never experienced this. So I think it is valuable to start on your own and see the extent of like the mistreatment. I think suppose
it's valuable to mess up.
Yeah.
It's valuable to like go to a gig and your music stops halfway through your set and you have to go and fix it. And that is difficult in a sense, because like at the Cheese and Wine Fest that I was playing, my music stopped halfway through my set. And now instead of trying to still entertain the audience and just chat to them, maybe do a Q&A while my tech person would hopefully sort that out. I'm on my haunches quickly trying to sort it out. I'm chatting to everyone going, hey guys, I'm busy fixing it. Don't stress. And everyone's like, oh, Willie, waar is jy, bro? Like, come on. I'm like, oh, I promise you, I'm coming. But I think it's, you learn things in that, but it does make it super stressful and it freaks you out. And especially when you don't know everything. And you kind of
forces
are just,
you to know everything.
Yeah. It forces you to
try.
Well, you don't know that you don't know something
until you're in the middle of a flash in the face.
I was trying to figure. I was like, well, how do I say that? But it's very much that. And I don't know what I don't know yet. I think I definitely know I don't know everything. But there are points where I'm like, oh, I'll be okay.
Up and you're like, nothing can go wrong.
Yeah. And then suddenly something goes wrong. I go, well,
this is a
did
new
not
thing
think of that
learned.
one. You know, and so it's a lot of that just in between of trying to figure things out. You know,
just a side note. I just want to know, how tall are you, bro?
6'3".
Fuck.
Everyone thinks I'm like 5 something or
no,
whatever.
Like you walked
Short
in here
kings.
and I was like, oh fuck, like I didn't expect you to be that.
That's not in the Jared.
I walk in here every day with you fucking giants and say that you're all tall. No, you're tall as well.
How tall are you?
Not 6'3". 5'11", but that's what everyone says.
Hey, bump it up to 6. Don't stress. Bump it up to 6.
But it really is 5'11", guys. I promise. I measured.
And then that's an interesting
I'm not
point,
insecure
though,
about my height.
because I like, I'm relatively tall. I'd say that I'm taller than the average man, but people seem to think I'm really short, because like whenever I meet people or that I've like
weird dude
that I've like interacted with on social media or that know of me before I've like met them in person, so often I get, oh, you're so much taller than I thought you were going to be.
It's hard to look tall in photos.
I get that, but like, yeah, that's a good point.
Thanks for that.
That's a good point.
Moving on though, I do want to now get into LA.
Yeah.
And
The good
I know
stuff.
you've been filming with Abo Boy as well.
Legend.
Is he Bubela's brother?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was wondering whether that was the
When
connection.
we were releasing Miss Me, everyone was like, okay, well, we need a music video for this because the song's going to do well. And so we need a music video to just keep feeding content. And I didn't know anyone to film anything because I don't know anyone in the creative industry because I apparently live under a rock. And
no, you just lived in Stellies.
The same thing.
Yes, yeah, fair. And I remember on a FaceTime with Bubele and he was like, bro, I'm not just being biased, but I only know one person that I'd like fully trust with this, with my whole heart. And it was Abo. And Abo has just kind of been the guy that's just helped me and been with me from that time when we started filming. And he came out for a month. I was there for 2 months in LA and he came for a month.
What was that like, dude?
Yeah. Give us a rundown.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I learned a lot. I don't know. It was rough. It was hectic. I've never worked like that in my life. It was insane. And I think that I came out of Stellies with no work ethic.
LA is
no work ethic. I was
Wrote a book
not
about
studying
that,
hard.
bro. Steadies to LA.
Yes.
That's
Well,
the
a song,
title
actually,
of the
there you
EP.
go.
Bro, is that the, come on.
Title of the EP.
Come on.
Stellies to LA.
Stellies to
From
LA.
the vault
It kind of
to
has a
LA.
ring to it. Jesus.
Hollywood, here we come.
I love it. But I think I was so used to routine in high school. Wake up at 6, go to school, study, break at 10, study, break at 12:30, study, water polo, come home, go to extracurricular stuff until 9 p.m., come home. Like that was it.
Yeah.
And then uni came and there was just this free flow.
Go for it.
I didn't know, bro. I didn't know what was going on. I very much realized, and it's still me being very immature and being a young person, but I do need someone breathing down my neck and saying, William, do this, William, do this. You have to do this. And I think that I've learned how to now just have my own drive and kind of, okay, William, you have to do this, internalize it, not do it. But LA was the first time that I've been seriously pushed past my limit and pushed outside of my comfort zone since high school, you know? And so it was very much routine. Wake up at 7, morning meetings, have lunch, session at 1. Sessions can go on for a good couple hours, come home at 10 p.m., cook myself a quick maybe eggs for dinner or a frozen meal for dinner, go to sleep, wake up, go again. I was doing 6 sessions a week. So it was like 1 a day. I do on Saturdays as well. Didn't have many weekends just because I was in the mindset and I told my team before. So it was kind of like my own doing. But I didn't want to leave LA going,
I should have done
there's
this.
so much more I could have done.
Oh.
I wasn't worried about doing the touristy things. I wasn't really worried about going to see the Hollywood sign. I was worried about being in the same
Maximizing
city
opportunity.
as some of the best creatives in the world, and I'm not going to try and utilize that. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
You've been blessed with such an incredible opportunity, and so who am I to go there and not take that with both hands? So it was interesting.
I think that's incredible because so many people I feel would be like put into that environment, especially with like the build up that you'd had where it was like it was moving, but it was kind of like going steady, and then all of a sudden it's like Stellies to LA, like boom. And I feel like a lot of people would get starstruck, be out of their comfort zone, be overwhelmed in that kind of situation, in that environment, that they wouldn't maximize the opportunity. Maybe they have a great time there, but they spend the whole time in traffic or going to see the Hollywood sign or like going to the what's it? The stars on the floor.
Hollywood Walk of Fame.
The Hollywood Walk of Fame. Like because there's so much to do there. Big lights, bright city, bright lights, big city. That the fact that you were able to keep yourself focused and keep yourself driven and focused on the mission at hand, and to actually really maximize the opportunity that the opportunity was meant to be, as opposed to being like, oh, LA.
But the thing is as well, like the pressure for that trip was big.
Yeah.
It really scared me. And I think that I'm not sitting here going, I absolutely crushed that trip to LA. I'm sitting here going, it was rough. It was tough.
But you pushed
I
yourself.
didn't know what I was doing. And I think I learned so much. I was in a big rut with my writing, massive rut. I think I went from writing a song a day to then going to uni. And I think I wrote about 10 songs in the year, 12 songs in the year. I really didn't write a lot last year because I was in my dorm, I had my roommate right next to me. There wasn't much environment writing to be done.
You couldn't
I was,
get weird and
you can't push
I like to take my pants off when I'm writing, you know.
Exclusive insight into Linley's creative process.
You heard it here first.
That's gonna get clipped. But the first 2 weeks were really tough. I remember having a morning meeting with my team and just in a very bad way, just in mental, you go into a session, you go into a room with people that you don't know, never met some of these writers and producers ever, heard about them, looked up to them, but never met them. And now I'm suddenly in the same room and they swivel around in their chair and they go, so what are we going to write about today?
And you're like,
I'm like, sheesh, brother.
I thought you were
eggs.
the expert.
Yeah. And
you tell me.
Life. And suddenly you're there and you are just pouring out everything that's happened in the last 6 months, good and bad. And there's been a lot of bad and there's been a lot of good. And I think that there were some sessions where I genuinely just left feeling so drained and so exhausted and mentally drained, like recounting situations
have to like relive them. Yeah.
And I think like there was one session which sticks out in my mind. I always write from an experience with someone, and I always write about the feelings that I'm feeling about that person. I'm never really writing the feelings that I'm feeling about me, you know? And I remember there was a particular song that I wanted to write on this trip, but I wanted to write it with David and Bubele because it was going to be, I knew it was going to be my most vulnerable song, and I needed to have people that I trusted in the room.
Comfort.
And I went into this room with a producer that I'd never met, but looked up to him and just so appreciated the work that he's done.
Are we allowed to drop names?
And I sat in the chair, and I remember I wasn't in the greatest mental space. I didn't know what I was going to write about. And he kind of like, we were chatting. He was quite an intense guy, but a really cool guy, like really chill, but just his like, you know, when somebody's aura is just quite intense, you know, but such a cool guy, really, really nice. But I remember we got to the point where there's always that awkward silence before you go in to write a song, because it's like you stop your chatting and then it's, okay, what are we going to write about? And I remember just feeling in a space of going, oh crap. I don't know what I'm going to say to this guy. I don't know what I want to write about. I don't know what I want to write about. And I brought through this concept that I actually was keeping to write with just David and Bubele. And I remember that just being one of the toughest sessions that I've ever done, because it was my most vulnerable I'd ever been with somebody I'd never met. And I remember going home to David and Bubs and just letting my guard down completely and just chatting to them and going, this is what's happened. This is the session that I've just had, and just feeling absolutely shattered because it was someone that I really wanted to have a good song with. And David and Bubs just kind of sat me down, and we had this whole big chat just about, you don't always write a hit on your first session with someone. And they kind of just changed my whole perspective on session culture. This was 2 weeks in, and they stopped me from freaking out about having the right concept in each session, and allowing myself to just breathe and take it easy. And I don't know where I'm going with this story, but that was such a pivotal moment in the trip, because from then on, I was so relaxed in every session that I did.
You've pushed yourself to the absolute limit. So like, it's like swimming to the deepest end of the pool. Once you've swam to the deepest end of the pool, you're no longer scared of how deep the pool is, because you've been there. You'll be like, oh, I'm not actually going to drown. There's no monsters here. I'm chilling. Now I can enjoy the whole pool.
And I think also the biggest thing is, always in my head, I thought that I had to be the one bringing the concept to the room. I was always freaking out about having this interesting little concept that flipped at the end and suddenly was left the listener going, whoa, didn't see that one coming. What a concept. This is incredible. Best writing I've ever heard in my life. And it stopped me from being in that mindset and realizing, actually, I don't need to be the one coming into this room with all the concepts. I can come in here and bring some melodies and bring some words, but the songwriter, after our conversation, should have maybe picked something out and said, that could be a cool concept.
That's going to work.
You know? And so after that, the rest of the trip went like a breeze. And I think that we left LA with some of the best music I've ever written. And I'm now in this headspace of like, don't get me wrong, I love the music that we're about to release. The next 3 songs are awesome, but it's because they are 2 years old or a year and a half old. For me, they are like old. The new stuff, I'm like, let's just get onto the new stuff.
Like, let's get the shit out so we can
It's the most like vulnerable, honest writing that I've ever done, and I'm so proud of it and so excited. And a lot of it's with David and Bubele, and then we'd bring a songwriter in, and some of it's with other producers, and it was just an awesome experience. And I feel very lucky to be in this position, because I realize how it just, you don't see this all the time, and there's not a lot of people from Cape Town, from South Africa, who can say, you know what, I went to write with these people, and I just, you just have to continue pinching yourself and going, you know what, stay grateful, be thankful for this moment. You know?
Have you heard of the artist Nalu? So yeah, she's also a Cape Town artist, and I saw recently she just went over to America as well, and she got
involved with
Death Row Records. She just got a album deal with Death Row Records. Yeah, bro.
Jeez.
Like she also
shout out Cape Tonians.
Yeah, she
and Loyiso. Have you seen Loyiso signed to Republic? Brew.
You're doing
That's-
big fucking things.
He's that guy. Sorry.
Sorry.
That guy's one song away from being the next Sam Smith. He's got the most beautiful voice I've ever heard in my entire life.
Lou, you saw it the other day, the podcast guy.
Yeah.
Bro, that guy.
Dude, I mean, but like,
Cool.
that's the thing.
It's
Homies,
happening.
South Africans
It's happening.
taking over the world.
And
No,
David
it's-
and Bubs are in LA right now and working with incredible. David and Bubele are the greatest producers ever. And I'm biased because
Shout
they're the
out.
guys I work with.
Shout out the homies.
But they are so cool and so good at what they do.
Dude, I think that's something that people. This whole thing is just me going, this is what's wrong with the Cape Town creative industry. That's kind of the whole thing. Get over it.
There's a lot
Dude,
wrong.
like, people need to understand. Like, for me, what I feel is the biggest thing limiting the Cape Town creative industry's growth is collaboration and how
Ego.
much is happening. Ego is a big, but like, you've got, and sitting in that room in LA, you would have experienced, like, it's, yes, you can work with like really cool aspirational people. That's, you know, and you'll hopefully in life you get those opportunities. But the people that you actually want to be doing it with
Your friends.
are the homies that were there from the beginning. And that's how you, working with those friends is how you got to have that sit in with that aspirational session.
Might as well continue.
And they were the ones that the whole time, no matter how
Yeah.
big this dude was, you're going, like, you know, you want to be with the homies.
Look at
Not, which is obviously nothing about them, but it's just about like, that's what you've got to do, man. Like,
That's what
find the
made you
people
feel
you
most
love
comfortable
creating with.
and
I promise
creative.
you, look at Lil Nas X.
Mm.
He produced this album with Omar Furdy, Blake Slacken. Those are like the two big guys. One other that I'm completely forgetting. Ryan Tedder was on it for one song. But I remember chatting to Balsh, David, and going, this is insane. It should be illegal for these guys to be able to make music together. But actually, they've been making music together for a while. Omar Furdy was all over Ian Dior's album before like Mood dropped and everything. Omar Furdy was playing guitars for some insane guys now when they were nobody.
Yeah.
And that was when it flipped for me, going like, I don't need to produce stuff with anybody else.
Yeah.
Collaboration is the most important thing.
Grow together.
And working with people is the most important thing.
100%.
But David and Bubele are so have played such a big role in my journey. That why would I stop working with them now?
They also know the context of your whole journey because they've been there
and
the whole thing.
they've covered me from so much. They've just popped me under their wing, and they're like, because a couple of things have come my way that could have really messed up my career, and they were just like, no, don't sign that. Come on. Like, keep working. It's fine. Like, you don't need to take the first thing that comes across your desk.
You're going to be back in LA. You don't need to go and do all the touristy stuff.
But also what I realized is like, actually, no. But just working there was just incredible. But being back home, and being with South Africans and being surrounded by South African creatives, I realized that like, there's not much of a difference. It's just that they've got the name America, whatever.
Dude, I maintain America's a third world country with a good PR
No. But
in some areas.
I just, yes, the writing world with pop music is the best. That goes without saying. The amount of people that you're able to collaborate with there is insane. And that was something that that opened my eyes, and I went, okay, if you really want to get better, writing here and doing trips like this is what's going to help. Because I found that I wrote a lot in my room. Then I met David. David pushed me and I became better. Then I hit a rut. Now I went over to the States, and now I've gotten better and learned a lot of things. And now I'm coming back home and writing songs in my room again. You know, so it's about
full circle.
It's about the realization that working with the right people at the right time can push you to be better. You learn a lot of things, and then you go back to your roots and go, okay, cool. All right, now I'm back with all this knowledge, and now let me write a song by myself.
There you go.
100%, dude. I want to bring it home, no pun intended, just because I want the podcast to be relatively short, so people
I think that's gone out
don't
the
go
window,
too long.
unfortunately.
An hour is a short podcast, relatively.
Sorry.
Can I just
no,
ask
dude.
one more question?
Yeah.
I
I
want
want
I've
to
also
know
got a
about
question.
how
One more each.
what's popping in your DMs with all the Gracies. How's that been like?
I mean, it's there, but I
Okay.
think it's, I don't know. I don't really.
But I mean, like in terms of like, you know, like being, how can I say, famous now? Like, do you find like
Well known.
people trying to like just be
Yeah,
around
do
you
people
for who
treat you
are?
differently?
Like, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at.
I guess.
Just for some clout, you know, that Instagram tag on the story or something that
Like, oh,
people.
I'm listening to your song. Appreciate me.
I don't know. I think I look at that in a little bit of a different light.
Yeah.
Because I think if I'm sitting here going, oh, sheesh, so-and-so just wants to talk to me because I'm me, that's such an egotistical way to look at it.
Yeah.
It's basically me fueling, everyone has their own ego.
Yeah.
It's me now fueling my ego going, look at me.
Yeah.
It's actually, well, who gives a crap about you?
Yeah.
You are just as important as everyone else in this room.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just as important as somebody living down the street or living in an apartment around here. I'm nobody more special than anybody else. And I think that the minute that I fall into that mindset of thinking of going, oh, so-and-so is treating me a bit differently because I'm so-and-so, like that's, it's destructive. And I think that the biggest thing that I just keep telling myself is, oh, yeah, cool. Like, if you want to go and tag me in a story, or if you are doing this for me to put you on a story or whatever, good for you. Well played. Like, you pulled the wool over my eyes.
Thanks for the free advertising. I appreciate it.
But the thing is I know my circle. I know my friends. I know the guys who have been my friends since I was 7 years old are always going to be my mates. My mum and dad are always going to be in my corner. My brothers are always going to be in my corner. But I'm not going to go turn down having an awesome conversation with someone
because they're a fan.
Because they're, I think that's it. I'm not saying that I'm perfect in the way of thinking. You know, there are times when you fall into that egotistical way of thinking, but the more and more that you can try and pull yourself out of that, I think that's really important, because otherwise you just get so in your head and you start believing things that people are telling you. But in matter of fact, I'm no more special than anyone else in this world.
Jesus, that was a good answer.
That's a fucking good answer. I'm gonna let you wrap it up. I've got two quick questions. One follows on from what Jared was saying. Would you say that sort of being head boy in high school was a good, almost like preparatory thing? Obviously, you couldn't have anticipated what was going to happen, but would you say that that was good experience in learning to deal with people seeing you in a different light to just a guy, like not just like, oh, I'm meeting Will. It's like, oh, this is almost like an authoritative figure. Would you say that being head boy in high school helped prepare you for Spotlight?
Yes and no. I think that, I don't know, what is awesome, and I think that sometimes I saw it as like a bad thing, but it actually isn't. It's really awesome, is that being in a position where people are looking up to you in a sense, like being a head boy, the grade 1s and 2s and 3s are all looking up to you. And I think that initially that freaked me out. Because I am no more special than anybody else. Why do you look up to me? And I think that I changed my way of thinking, going, okay, you can't change that people might look up to you. So you might as well just do your best at being a good person to look up to.
Worth looking up to.
Yeah. And so I think that way of thinking was built into me being head boy. And I think I had a lot of those thoughts in my head. And I think that now, being in the position that I am, is a lot of that same thinking of going, I don't like the spotlight. I don't really enjoy the fame or whatever you want to call it. I hate using that word, but I'm here. And I really want to do music.
You've worked your ass off to get where you are.
So I might as well try be someone that is really cool to look up to. And that people go like, oh, Will. Cool guy.
Solid oak.
Not that I don't make mistakes or slip up or I'm a human being or whatever, but I think that I really try my best to be a positive figure to look up to and not a negative individual.
Knocked it out the park again. Dude.
That's all you can do. Like you can't like, and it's something that I just like, try on all our podcasts. I'm like, everyone fucks up. Everyone makes mistakes. Like, don't look up to people to be perfect, because you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. Like, but I think that's the way you do it, is like, if you do have a position, if you do have some kind of a, public eye position, it's like, just do your best. Like, and, try. I think the way you've put it is great. Is like, be someone that,
try to be
for
the
me,
best
it's like, be someone where your fans are like, I'm really proud of being, because, and they feel like convicted. And I think that's what you've been doing is like, it's the connection. It's people feeling connected to you. And I think that actually is so much of it. As we wrap things up,
we got to wrap up.
I just want to go for a drink afterwards.
I was gonna, one last quick one, and this probably won't be able to be unpacked much, but is there like a rollout plan in place for what you did in LA? Is there like
not yet
plans set in motion for the rollout and for the release? Is there like, are you moving towards an EP album, or is it just still focused more on getting singles out?
So right now we're building towards an EP.
Cool.
That EP is going to be coming out in July, I think.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so it's quite soon. We shot a music video for the title track of the EP. So we got I Don't Want to Be Yours coming on Wednesday, and then we got something else coming a month after, which I can't say. And then we've got the EP coming in July with a music video and a title track for that. And then we'll go into the stuff that we've been doing in just the last few months.
Nice.
It's always so difficult because you put in dates and then they actually you push it out a month. But I think I'm now in the process of just trying to get music out there. But it's awesome because the people that I'm working with are in the same frame of mind of going, you know what, we're in the 21st century. Music is being consumed in a completely different way. And so now we just got to get music out.
But building the foundation is so important, because once you built the foundation, that's when you can start to be a bit more like, okay, let's put this song out, let's put this out, but you have to, the building blocks have to be set in place.
And I think the EP, what is quite cool is that each song is so different.
Nice.
We've got kind of like a rock leaning song, which has like intense distorted guitars, like big drums. We have Miss Me, which is this like pop ballad type thing. We have I Don't Want to Be Yours, which is kind of a loud styled song. We've got a song called All the Girls I Loved Before, which is kind of Ty Verdes, rappy but fun. All these songs are so different. And then when it's going to go into like album mode after the EP, I think then the world really starts being created. But right now the EP is going, these are the different genres of music that I was inspired by. And so that wherever I decide to go for the album, nobody's going to be shocked. Everyone's going to go, that makes sense. He had stuff like that with the EP.
Like, okay.
That's smart.
So the EP is just a snapshot of Will's mind over the last year,
Nice.
which is quite cool. And
Very
so I'm quite
eyes
excited.
and ears peeled.
July, that's super exciting, dude. Last few things on my side. Firstly, you have a run of shows coming up. End of May, end of June.
End of June, early July.
Okay.
It's the main ones,
So tell us about the shows. Where you playing?
Where will you be?
Where you going to be? When are you going to be there? And what should people be coming for? Both people who haven't seen you before and people who have seen you before.
I think, so I'm playing at a bunch of Tiger's Milks around South Africa. It's a very nice little gig to do. It's so awesome. I'm doing La Parada at Constantinek, and then doing Daisy Jones Bar, Stellenbosch, which is a sick one.
Shout out Daisy Jones.
Shout out, man. And so that's a really exciting one. Tickets are almost sold out, so we basically are just pushing people to try and buy as quickly as possible. But
I'm gonna buy some tickets.
But I think that the main thing is we're still trying to figure out how to go about these shows because of the venues. We're trying to figure out, is it more to the acoustic side or is it leaning to a drummer and backing tracks and me? But I think the big thing is fans and people should be expecting fun interaction. I'm
Good
the most
music.
informal individual ever. I'm not going to go up there and I don't know. Hello, everybody. I'm going to chat to people, have conversations, play a bunch of unreleased music. I think I basically play like 8 unreleased songs and then 2 covers. So it's about a 45-minute set of unreleased music with a couple covers on the way.
So
I think
no
it's
one
going to be
knows
really
what
cool.
they're getting themselves
I'm
into.
so excited.
Yeah.
That's
I'm keen.
okay. Well, now I need to get tickets. I didn't know they were that sold out.
If you can, try come go to the Daisy Jones one.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a really cool one because
Daisy Jones.
it's Daisy Jones. I think we're gonna have a drummer involved. I think it's gonna be really cool.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And then another question I asked on my Instagram, and people gave some cool questions, which I've mostly worked into these ones.
Yeah?
But there was one that particularly where you were talking about, coming back to Cape Town, being with South Africans again. And, being a part of an industry and conscious of an industry where representation is really important, and we need to be, conscious of that. Someone, a relevant person, asked, do you have any collaborations upcoming with South African artists? And the question was in particular with South African female artists. If you can provide detail on that, I know sometimes you can't, but yeah, what are you, to make it a bit broader as well and bring that home, is like, what are you looking forward to doing? Yeah, what's your plan in terms of Cape Town and South Africa and where that goes from here?
It's a question. I think the collaborative process is an interesting one. And so to answer your question about any songs coming out, at current, no, we don't actually have anything for the EP, because the EP is very much, we're trying to just captivate and capture audience and bring them to Will right now, because I'm such an upcoming and young artist that nobody really knows about. We trying to go, here is as much music from me as possible, and I think that's really important in a rising artist stage, first stages. But when it comes to plans for like Cape Town and collaboration with South African creatives, I think there's a drummer that I really want to get involved in my live shows. She's incredible. And my brother actually put me on to her.
We're going to talk afterwards about who that is, because I have ideas.
She's an absolute legend.
It's me.
Yep, there we go. And so that's quite an exciting thing for me. But at the same time, I'm just trying to continue working with the team that I have, with David, with Bubele, with Abongwe.
Keep the circle tight.
And but then at the same time, I'm never closed off to collaboration. But I think I am focused on continuing to try and bring people into my world to continue to try and write with other people and build relationships. But at this moment in time, because it's actually been such a short period, it's been 5 months. And for 2 of those months, I've been away. And for a month that I was playing shows in December, I actually haven't had time to write in Cape Town. So whoever that is, hit me up, because I'd love to write. I think my biggest thing is...
And then see what happens with a song.
Exactly. And I think there are people that I'd love to work with. And I kind of keep it in my head because I'm like, if you say it out loud, like it doesn't happen.
Give us the first one, it might happen.
Oh, you never know. I can't. It's like making a wish. You can't. You can't.
I hear you.
But I think I'm excited for this collaboration to happen, because I'm now in South Africa for the next 5 months or whatever. And so I've now got the time. I'm in Cape Town. I'm not in Stellies anymore. I'm not worried about the 45-minute drive down.
But also sorry to cut off, but also going back to a point you made in the beginning, which is the importance of remembering that not everything has to happen now. Cape Town's not going anywhere. The people in Cape Town might go somewhere else, but Cape Town will always be Cape Town. And the time for collaboration is the time for collaboration. It might be now, it might be in a couple of months, it might be a year from now, but they'll always, if something's meant to happen, it'll happen. And if it happens organically, that's so much more valuable, because it's not forced. Like if you're like, okay, I'm here for 5 months and I have to collaborate with this person, like we have to get it done. It's like, oh, okay.
It puts pressure on the collaboration. And I think
it's not organic.
Yeah. If we can set up a session with somebody where we just go into the room together and jam out and we meet each other, and we make a connection, and it goes badly.
You feel it out together.
It's okay, because we've actually made a connection, a friendship. That's more important. Sessions, it does not matter.
Yeah.
What matters is the connection. The song doesn't matter. Have a good connection with the person, and you will write songs for 50 years.
Song will write itself.
And so I think in terms of just collaborations with South Africans, I am continuing to work with Abo. He's just edited and helped put together my visualizer. I shot it with one of his mates, Sipo, in Cape Town. David and Bubele are 2 of my biggest collaborators. Yes, they are in the States, but I think that now I'm home, I want to work with more people in Cape Town, and so we'll see where it goes.
Beautiful. That's going to be...
And on that note...
That's my lock the gate alarm, lol. Dude, thank you so much for coming. If
might be
people want to find you, if they don't already, where can they find you? Online. Obviously not at home.
Instagram handle is Will Linley with 2 Y's because some freaking other Will Linley has the proper name. And then on TikTok, it's William Linley Music.
Beautiful.
Not to be confused with Will N.E., famous YouTuber who I thought initially we were getting into the studio. I was like,
and on the flip side, I didn't know who that was. So I think that makes the point excellent.
So let down. No, I'm kidding. This has been
dude. Thank you.
very
I've
enjoyable.
really enjoyed this.
We've got to do the intro though.
Yeah, we will do an intro. Like I've been very interested in hearing your experience with all of this stuff. So thank you for sharing with us. And I think thank you for sharing your experience with everyone who listens, and hopefully lots of people listen.
So open
and if you're a musician in Cape Town, man, like there's a lot of really valuable stuff that we talked about that I think can really help people. So dude, thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I think it's awesome to chat about creative stuff with other creatives.
100%. That's the point.
That's the thing, is it's all related and relatable. Like obviously you're a musician and I'm a photographer, but there's still similarities that you can relate on, and like you've got experience in the music industry, but now you work on a more
I don't know why I'm here.
you don't do that anymore.
I'm just a sound engineer. I don't know why a media production company. I love it.
But yeah, you're right. It's like I've also only started doing this recently, and it's like nice to have not even structured conversations. Just you have a conversation, and
just
like
a chat.
There's good stuff that comes out of it that now like, other people can see. So
it's camaraderie, dude. Like it's a mutual understanding. Camaraderie, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you mean camaraderie?
You got to be careful what you say in a recording. This one will clip me up and like destroy me.
No, listen, I've been stressing about that. Every answer, I'm like,
how can I make sure
how's he gonna edit this?
The deep fakes have gotten good. Shout out to the Kendrick album coming on Friday.
Dude, did you see that? Oh my days,
dude.
Very good. It's gonna be sick.
Oh my lord, I'm so excited.
We can add another hour onto this podcast.
Yeah, dude,
I'm already planning, and we will chat about what your schedule is next week. I'm already planning a Kendrick Lamar album debrief podcast. So we'll chat about that. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for listening. Really, really appreciate it.
Shout out.
Please make sure you share this. There'll be hella funny and good TikToks and reels. So share those.
Big funny meme.
Go check out Will. You know us lot. You can find us. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Lorcan, for being on the pod. That's pretty much it for this CAYACast. Thank you so much for watching, and have a beautiful day further.
What a time to be alive.
Bye.
Oh, okay.